mean, in life, you always, whether you own a company or you aspire to own a company, you actually aspire to have the right type of individuals who can lead your company into the right direction. But the sad reality is leaders are never created. Leaders are always individuals who rise to the occasion. Leaders are individuals that are willing to spend time, spend energy, and spend money into going out there and developing themselves. And a lot of companies that I sit down with, and I've been sitting down recently, and I'm talking about around the world, because as I start to travel for my own personal business and my personal brand and my personal life, I get the opportunity to connect with a few companies, you know, outside the sales environment, just companies alone, some of the top companies in that specific country. And I fly out, but I do my own stuff, and then I always take a day out or a day or 2 days out, which is never public. I never ever post it on social media. I'm never public about it, but I definitely go out there and I sit down in a boardroom with their top producers or their staff or their CEOs, CFOs, CTOs, etc. And what I basically do is I align the company, but I do understand that if you don't have equity in a company, but you desire what you want, as in like you want the desired income, or you want to be that type of leader in the corporate company or that specific company, you've got to understand that there's a lot of energy and a lot of time and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that needs to be poured in. So leaders have a few characteristics. Leaders are always individuals who are willing to invest, not just financially, but their time into developing themselves to become a better version. Think about this from a different angle, because mostly entrepreneurs or individuals, they only see one angle. And imagine yourself driving a car, and there's multiple mirrors in the car. You got your mirrors on either side of the car. You have a rear view mirror, and you got to see every different angle, every different view. You can't miss a blind spot. You literally have to turn your head sometimes to catch that angle. But like business, you need to be ahead of the game. You need to develop, yourself as a leader. So communication is one of them. There needs to be crystal clear communication. Favoritism. You can never have a favorite. Never. No matter whether the person is your top money earner, your top employee, your staff, your best salesman, you can never have a favorite. Remember something, the cards are always shuffled and they never ever come in the same order. Someone who's rising in your organization, whether it's a sales organization, whether it's a corporate organization, might be at the top and then eventually starts to swivel down to the middle and right to the bottom. It's very difficult to maintain that type of success that you've developed. And individuals that actually go the extra mile. So being a leader, you've got to go the extra mile. I can't even tell you how much it's taken me to get to where I am right now. What if I told you the money that I've made in my entire career, almost 80%, 80% has gone in to develop my brand, develop me, traveling the world, putting myself on a pedestal, building up that brand. So what you see today is totally different to what was there. So because I knew I was going to spend it somewhere or another. I was either going to spend it on something that was never going to be valuable and never be an asset to my career, or I'm going to invest it back into, me, my brand, my career, my foundation. And, it's always excelling. It's always taking to the next level. I'll give you a typical example. I'm about to launch a brand new book, and the publisher of the book is Forbes, #1 financial authority. Do you think that comes in at a quick, transfer? No, it doesn't. It comes in at a cost. It comes in at a huge cost. The only thing that I don't have to pay for is, the forward, because I know the person who's writing the forward. He's a very good friend of mine. I didn't have to pay for it. But I'll tell you right now, you want to have a show, a very simple show like what I've had, like what I have, the Millionaire Student show. You think all those guests are free? No, I gotta pay them for their time. I gotta pay them to sit in front of me. And whether it's paying, certain people are very humble enough to say, hey, I don't want the cash, but you can donate to my charity. And that's totally different. So every time I have a very successful entrepreneur that's sitting across me and I'm interviewing them, you've got to understand, that's a price tag right there. That's not just contacts. So at the end of the day, there's multiple factors that create and develop a leader. But realistically speaking, leaders are individuals that create the gap and then they close the gap. So creating the gap meaning you go out there and you create the gap between you and someone else. And then you close the gap by you becoming undoubtedly the best in the game. And I see it over and over and over and over again in entrepreneurship, to sports, to anyone. I mean, I'm very inspired by Kobe Bryant and Floyd Mayweather, two of the greatest athletes in the world. Despite the sport, despite the paycheck, they are undoubtedly two of the most strongest, and most, let's just say, strongest physical human beings in the industry of sport and entertainment. And then you go look at entrepreneurship, two of the biggest, strongest minded individuals is, people like, Warren Buffett and people like Bill Gates. I mean, did you know right now Buffett is in his office at 8:30 a.m. every single morning? I mean, the guy is the third wealthiest guy in the world. Fourth wealthiest guy in the world. He is about 85 years old. His net worth is over $80 billion. He owns 2,400 companies, but he is still sticking to the basics. So there's a lot of characteristics to create that personal leadership, profile for yourself. You get a CV and a resume, and then you start to develop your own one from there onwards. That, right now, if someone asked me for my CV, I'd say go straight to my website, because that has everything you ever want to track down. That has everything that I've managed to accomplish. But I'm always innovating and always disrupting and always growing. I mean, think about this for a moment. Once upon a time, well, firstly, we always have trends, and trends are everything that's going to take place, whether it's in business or trends in the career of individuals. You have trends, and trends are not always smooth sailing and always prosperity and scaling 90 degrees up in the air. Trends are, a diagram that goes up and down. It's a bump, it's a roller coaster. So as individuals go up, they have to come back down. But where they come down is not as deep as where they've been before. And as much as they go high, they always go higher than where they initially were. So you look at companies like Mixit and companies like, look at Mixit and look at all these companies. I mean, even Snapchat, where they were and where they are. Nokia, once upon a time, Nokia was on the cover of Forbes. Where are they today? You start to develop that mindset of, hey, you get too complacent. You don't want to adapt. You don't want to adjust as a leader. Well, guess what? That's what's going to happen in my very first segment, because I'm speaking twice at the Winning Edge. I'm speaking twice, 40 minutes each. And then I'm interviewing some major celebrities, major local influencers. But without mentioning any names, I will tell you, choose my very first topic, my very first 40 minutes. I will reprogram your prototype. I will reprogram your paradigm. I'll reprogram your foundation. So you're gonna walk in, and I've got 40 minutes to reprogram you for the past 10, 20, 30, 40 years of your life, exactly how Jordan Belfort has 2 minutes and 30 seconds to sell you something instantly after the opportunity arises. So I want you to understand, it's very difficult for me to do that, but I know how to do it because I've done it for myself. And, so I hate when, and I could have been a motivational speaker getting paid for this stuff years ago, because I've been personally developed for 17 years. I've got the documented results. I got the foundational phase, I've got the proven systems, but it's not about that. I wanted to correct my path. I wanted to make sure I'm aligned before I start to develop anything or even put it out there. So I hope that answers the question, Andrew.
Absolutely, Sash. You're a machine. Thank you.
Hey, Sashin, how are you?
Great, thanks, Sal.
Cool. So, Sash, we've seen you grow in a very short space of time. I mean, it's really been only 8 years, your career, and we met you 4 years ago. And in the last 4 years, we've seen you just develop into an absolute powerhouse in business. So, what are some of the mistakes that you wish you could have avoided each time you've built a new business?
So, number one, some of the mistakes that I've looked at is, in the beginning, I would always hire someone based on what they've accomplished and not what they can do. So, for example, if someone's accomplished and achieved a degree, or someone's gone out there and they have the documented, results in school, and then it's time to hire them, I hire them based on that, and I put them in my world or in my company's world. And what starts to happen is they can't conclude the job because, when your brain is so, overdosed with knowledge, it's very difficult to apply it. But if you put someone in a situation where you tell them, hey, here's 24 hours, do what you need to do. I'll give you a typical example. When I hired one of my very first videographers, I told him, you got literally 24 hours to come up with a video that impresses me. And he says, where am I going to get the content from? I said, go onto my YouTube channel, extract whatever you need to extract, and literally just make a video. Impress me. You got 24 hours. Rather than him coming up and showing me, hey, this is what I've achieved. This is the softwares I have. This is the laptop I have. I got everything, all the tools, but I've never used it. So I put him to the test. So that's one of them. Don't hire people based on what they have, okay, on what they have. You want to base it on what they can do. So if you want to go out and hire a salesman, well, hire a salesman based on, here's the phone. How many people can you close in 24 hours? How many packages can you sell? How many courses can you sell? How many policies can you sell? How many, properties can you sell? That's how I would hire people, okay? Another thing is getting my foundation sorted out from day one, okay? When you start a business, it's very easy to say, I want to just start a random business, okay? I've done multiple times. I've started 15 to 20 companies successfully. The majority of them have made over 6 to 7 figures. I'm not talking rands. I'm talking US dollars here, okay? And, when I look at those companies, I look at me not even starting them with the right type of intention. For example, the very first step when you start a company, very first step, you take it and you make sure you research your competitors. You research the competition. You research what's out there. Okay, who are you competing against? Number two, you go out there and it's as simple as you going out there and finding a domain that matches your company, buying the domain. And you can use anything from AfriHost to GoDaddy to whatever you want to use. Then you go and create a website, okay? And you can use WordPress, you can hire a graphic designs team, then you go out there and market this thing. But once again, all of that means absolutely nothing if you don't have the right type of product. See, I knew for a fact I could sell absolutely anything. If I took an ice cube out of the tray, I could sell this thing before it melts. That's me. So I knew it. I knew I can sell something in like 2 minutes. It's just the type of person I've become through personal growth and personal development. Another mistake I did is hiring people that aren't personally developed. Literally, I hired people who aren't on the same frequency. So, they might have the qualifications. They might have, I can do this stuff. I'll put them to the test in 24 hours. But the key fact is they don't have personal development. They're not on the same frequency. That's very difficult to find people who are aligned with your vision, aligned with who you are. If you're personally developed and they're not, it's going to be very difficult. It's like you're in chapter, you're in chapter 30 and then in chapter 1, okay? A few other things that I've done, mistakes, trying to figure out, I've made so many mistakes in entrepreneurship and business. I didn't have a plan, savings plan in the beginning, my foundational phase. I really didn't. I made money and I spent money. I had a leakage in my bucket. I had a leakage in my financial bank account. So you got to understand, when you have that leakage, it flows in and flows out. No matter what your net worth is. By the way, today's day and age, anyone can make a million. Like, what are you talking about? R1 million? $1 million? But you're not a millionaire until you can have $1 million in the bank account. You got 2 commas in your bank account, you're a millionaire. Okay? You gotta understand that most people out there, they say they're a millionaire, but they've made $1 million once and they've never ever made it again, or they've never sustained and maintained it. It's equivalent to the guy that says, hey, I'm an artist that's a platinum record singer. I'm an artist. I've made, millions of sold millions of tracks or albums. Okay, you're a one-hit wonder. Where you at right now? I mean, you sang one song. Now what? Where you at? So you've got to understand that having the right type of CFO, Chief Financial Officer, I started getting that right. Okay, I'm ready to scale 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, $900 million, $1 billion. And 2019, 2020 is going to be a very special year. I can tell you right now, not for me, but for the people who are associated with me in all my businesses combined. I can see us, the winning edge, 20, 30, 40,000 people in December. I can see it happening with my speakers. I'm about to launch. It's game over. My new I can see where this thing is going. I really and truly can. Another thing I made a mistake on was trying to build a brand first and then eventually going and working. So for example, when people look at, TMS, the Millionaire Student, they look at it as a Sashin Govender brand. No, it's not. I just spoke in Manila, Philippines for 1,000+ people. And I told them, hey, everyone aspires to become a millionaire, but they're not willing to become the student first. You've got to be the student first, then you become the millionaire. And when you become a millionaire, then you have to maintain and sustain that by staying in student mode. So maintain student mode and your results and your lifestyle will be endless. But when you look at the brand, the Millionaire Student was created 18 years, 17 years after me studying personal development. It was created 25 years after me going out there and breathing. It was created, 8 years after me starting my first business. It was created, after I made 8 figures before I even created it. So you got to understand, people want to create inspire them. How do you inspire people? By going to work in your company, with your product. Go to work. Everyone wants to start a podcast right now until you look at, go launch it on YouTube. Go see how many views you get. Everyone wants to go out there and be famous. Okay, cool. I really don't. Okay. But at the end of the day, go close your eyes after you put that post on social media. See how many comments and likes you get. Okay. Everyone wants to go out there and do this and that, but it's time to work first. Go out there, have the best company, best product, best service out there, best whatever you need to do to build up a brand. The brand will follow you organically, naturally. That's one of the mistakes I made in the beginning. I wanted to go and create a brand first. Then I wanted to work it out. Then I expected people to follow it. Wrong way. Go work organically. It will fix itself. You can just see when someone wants to force a brand publicly. You can see it. You can see it. Here is some trends on how you can see it. They start to name it after them. They go out there and start to develop a logo that's after them. It's all about them. Think about it for a moment. Look at the wealthiest people in the world. Berkshire Hathaway is a company, a holdings company that owns 2,400 companies, and it has nothing to do with Warren Buffett. The physical appearance has not, if I mention the word Berkshire Hathaway, you would never think it's Warren Buffett. Let me talk to you about the brand Virgin. I mentioned Virgin. Do you ever think it has anything to do with Richard Branson? He owns the company, but he doesn't need the recognition from it. And I can go over and over and over and over again. TMT, the money team. Do you think it's got Floyd Mayweather's name on it? No, it doesn't. I can go over and over and over and over again. the most successful brands is built up after there is a track record, a history behind it. So that's some of the biggest mistakes I've made. And I'm always making mistakes, and I love making mistakes because it's always where I learn from myself.
Sash, there was a lot of learning points in that answer. Thank you so much. So let's just stay there for a moment on business side, because currently you have multiple income streams at the age of 25. Now, when coming up with a new business idea, how did you know that it was the right one? Is there like a formula or a business strategy that you adopt? Do you weigh up in best case scenarios?
Yeah, I never ever go into a business if I'm not going to sell it for free. For example, if I sell a company, if I sell a product, I always do it and say, hey, if there was no income attached to it, would I still promote it? That's the first thing I ask myself. The second thing I do is it's always solving a problem, always solving a problem to humanity, to the universe, to people out there, not just for myself. There's not a money goal attached to none of these things. It's always solving a problem. I own multiple businesses that you don't even know about, that you see on the internet, that I own, because I don't need to put my face in front of it to market it. I've got other marketing, tactics and techniques, but I always solve a problem. And then, when I do that, I always look at the competition around, and generally the competition is never ever there because people aren't thinking aligned with that. So we're always solving a problem, so solving a problem is vital because that creates a sustainability. I always do business. It's very rare for me to physically start a business where it's tangible. I don't like tangible businesses. When you start something tangible, you've got to be prepared to put up cash. There's a lot of risk. You got to be able to it's so funny. One of my businesses, I never needed finance in the business. Never ever needed it. It never required finance. I started from scratch. By the way, majority of my businesses start off from like under $1,000. It's just the idea, find the product, find the service, and I literally started. $1,000 goes towards a website and the team that starts it. And then the crazy part about it is when you start it, you need to be able to fall in love with it to sustain it, because a lot of people solve a problem, and the majority of your businesses, you won't see income instantly. So I did all my businesses digitally online, purely based on the fact of me understanding that there's less risk, but also there's no need. You can start very small. Do you know that me starting off a small company, you starting off a small company, you're already ahead of a company that has $100,000 in overheads per month? You're ahead of them because they're in debt. If they're going to make $100,000 a month on the first of every month, you're ahead of it. So that's why there's no stress for the brand new guy who's starting off a brand new company. Yes, there might be stress for him to generate income real quick, but there's no real stress compared to the guy that is not sure whether he's going to generate those sales next month or generate that revenue next month. So yeah.
Awesome. Sashin, let's stick with social media, because you mentioned now for under $1,000 you can start a business, website, online. And I know you've been instrumental with social media, particularly in the last 12 months. We've seen a massive explosion. You've just been accredited now as a blue client on Instagram. So can you share some of the areas where you're having massive success, particularly generating leads on Instagram or social media?
I mean, I have this company called Social Media Marketing, and it was doing exceptionally well. Instagram changes algorithms, so I've got my entire team back in the lab, restructuring the entire algorithm. And I do believe when we do figure it out, we've already figured out at 80%. We'll figure it out 100%. And I had that company, it was doing about $40,000 per month on easily, hands down, profit. Hands down, $40,000 profit. I started the company for under $1,000. That made $40,000 a month profit for 12 consecutive months. And what happened was Instagram changes its algorithm, which once again, there's 3 phases in life and business. There's something called adversity, prosperity, and a plateau. We went through prosperity for 12 months, consecutive months, and we went through some adversity. It's easy to fix because I'll fix it up. But I will tell you something, that marketing is once again, this goes back to working like you're broke. When you work like you're broke and you build up something that has a track record and history, and I got the blue tick. It's so funny. I've been chatting to people like The Rock for the past 4 days on Instagram because there's validation. I've been chatting with people like they've never replied to me in their entire life, but because I don't have a blue tick now, I do. I literally send them a private message and they reply to me like within 5-6 hours. It's so crazy how the blue tick gives you validation of who you really are. It's just like a brand. So the blue tick is like a brand. There's multiple different ways, but at the Winning Edge, I'm going to talk to you about how you can take any online platform and use it as free marketing, and how you can market that and leverage off, a TV show, which is social media, that's open 24/7, 365. Imagine your best movie or your best series playing 24/7, 365, because that's social media. It never shuts down. Open up a YouTube channel and put up a video. People can watch it 24/7, 365. You put a post on social media, people can watch it 24/7, 365. They can see it. It's visible. It's there. It doesn't get deleted. You don't need any marketing. But at the end of the day, social media played a huge role in my career, in the majority of my businesses. And I'm going to break that down at the Winning Edge, close to 10 minutes of my second topic.
Sash, we're absolutely excited. We can't wait for that. Earlier, you mentioned something about mistakes that you've made, and you touched on savings. Can I ask you, because in my line of business, I see a lot of people work for a boss. They then start their own business. It fails. They either start again or they go back to working in a job, only to repeat the process, never really to retire, because they have not invested or saved or even planned for their retirement. So what advice can you give a young entrepreneur on this call right now regarding the importance of saving as their income increases? Because, that's crucial, right?
It's so funny, Andrew. I literally listened to a lot of audios. I read the book Richest Man in Babylon, and listened to a lot of audios on books. And it's so crazy how when you give advice and when you learn advice on finances, sometimes we don't take that advice. I had to go down the route of making the money, spending the money, looking back, where the heck is the money? That's so funny. Like, I know how it feels to make 10 million and spend 10 million. I know how it feels like I'm at a point, I was at a point where I'm like, where's the money? It's just like, where's the friends? Where's the friends that was there on day one? Well, money is a powerful tool. I said it in one of my posts on social media. Money will make relationships. It'll also break relationships. It'll separate you from a lot of people. It'll kill your business. It'll grow. 10, 10, and 10. Save 10%, give 10%, and invest 10%. Open up a bank account that you know for a fact you need a second signature on it before you withdraw funds from it. The minute you make money, send your 10% into that account. Don't touch it, okay? That's the first thing. Or get a debit order or something along that line that comes in. Second thing is give 10% away. If you can't give 10% away when you're making $100, you won't give 10% away when you're making 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, etc. So I said, save 10% in your bank account. Now it's time to invest 10%. What do you want to invest in? You make the decision. I'm not a financial advisor. I can't give financial advice on what you want to invest in, but invest in something. If you're not educated, you know what I like investing in? I like investing in myself. I'm my biggest asset. I like taking the 10% and putting it back into events, putting it back into like the Winning Edge. It amazes me on how people won't invest in themselves. Like, for example, I am too ready to pay 10, 20, 30, 50, $100,000 to get coached and mentored by anyone that has what I want. This event called the Winning Edge. The cheapest ticket is $49. I believe the whole world should be at this event. I strongly believe the whole world should be at this event. I could have done this event for free and made a loss. But at the end of the day, because right now, the people I'm bringing for the next Winning Edge, it is absurd. One guy is worth $88 million. Another guy is worth $2 billion. Okay? Another guy owns 430 companies, and you know who I'm talking about. Okay? Those type of people is what I'm bringing to the Winning Edge in December. It's crazy on what we're about to do. But it's like $49 is the test of you going out there and putting the down payment for your dream life and what you deserve and desire. You got to understand though, the 10% that you're investing, for me, my biggest asset was personal development. I mean, I could have bought a property for $1 million. I could have sold it for 1.5. But I'm like, why don't I take that 10%, invest it back into my personal growth, personal development, my brand, and my brand will pay for anything I ever want. That's what you got to understand. I speak to my accountant. We do all the maths on everything, and it's such a joke. I have no budget on personal development. Zero. No budget. Like if someone came to me tomorrow and said, hey, go listen to this guy. He's one of the greatest in the world. This is how much you should pay. I will do it with my eyes closed. I don't care. I don't look at how much. And if I had $10 in my bank account and I need to spend $10 in an event, I will do it more than eating food, because food is my crumbs. If you eat the crumbs now, you will eat the bread later. If you eat the bread now, you will eat the crumbs later. I want to bite the bullet. I literally understand the magnitude of investing into yourself. Other people don't believe in themselves, so they basically invest into other stuff. But if you want to invest into tangible stuff. Point blank, invest into tangible stuff. I've lost so much of money giving other people to do this with my money and do that with my money and do that. Just understand something. Here's a tip. If anyone is asking you to invest into their company, they don't have money. Why would they ask you to invest into their company to double your money or give you a percentage? They don't have money. Point blank. I don't care what car they drive. I don't care what home they live in. I've never had to ask one person to finance my company. I've never had to ask one person because I don't need it. Okay. If I can't afford it, I can't afford it. But if you're asking people, now let me tell you, I'll give you a typical example. A 3.8 million and mistake. I gave one of my family members, well, not family members, one of my close friends, because I trusted him in doing X amount with my money, thinking it's going to come back. Well, guess where it's gone? It's gone. It is gone. No matter who they are, if they're asking you for money to 10x your money, 20x, 30x your money, they don't have money. Social media gurus that want you to invest so they can give you 10, 20, 30, 40% of your money, they don't have that money, because they need your money to make them more money, and probably you will never get your money. The best thing is invest in anything tangible or yourself.
That's brilliant advice. So, Sash, I'm glad you also touched on, where's the money gone, where the friends gone, the people that started with you in the beginning. And I've heard you say this many times. We see a lot of entrepreneurs that obviously have people that put doubts into them or, say that they're never ever going to make it. And we've seen entrepreneurs who sacrifice their health, sanity, and happiness in the pursuit of money. What sort of advice would you give to people, on how to handle that doubt and those pitfalls that come with being an entrepreneur?
Have zero emotional attachment. Zero emotional attachment. Love without any expectation. Give without any expectation. Serve without any expectation. People are going to screw you over, whether you like it or not. The odds are against you. The ratio is against you. There will always be more people in life that hurt you than the amount of people that will have your back. There will always be more people in life that have the agenda of screwing you over than the people that's going to have your back. It's always against you. Find those people who do have your back through frequency, energy, law of attraction, and God. That's the only way you're going to find them. I can count my friends on 4 fingers. I know and my dad always told me this. You can't trust your left hand from your right. My dad and my mom always told me you can only count your friends on 1 hand. I can count my friends on 4 fingers. I've got friends, I've got family, I've got business partners. That's it, okay? But you gotta understand something. Would you let someone come in your home and turn your back and know that your home is open to that person. That's when you know they're your friend. So just letting you know, that's life. I don't go into business with everyone. I've turned down business. Like an example, I had an opportunity to make $200,000 in 7 days. $200,000, 3 million in 7 days. Because of the person that I was meant to go in business with, I canceled that business deal on the set of after getting all the legal work done, all the paperwork done, all the entities done. I canceled it. I know how much I could have made in that business. Why? Because it wasn't sitting right for me to go into a business with any person. You want to go into business with someone, it's like equivalent to living in the same home with them. You want to go out there and build a business with someone, it's equivalent to going to to live in the same home with them. You want to mentor someone and you want someone to be a mentee, it's equivalent to going into a home and living with them. That's equivalent to eating from the same plate. Same thing. So I have no expectation. How many people have screwed me over? God bless them. I'm winning. And I will continuously win because I have no expectation on, hey, what am I going to get out? Think about this logically. You know, Jay-Z is one of the smartest entrepreneurs out there. Smartest. Okay. Do you see him hanging around with all his friends, or does he have a tight circle? Tight circle. Warren Buffett, I've never seen him with any friends. Bill Gates, never seen him with any friends. I know they have people that hang out with them, but are they really friends? I don't know. They know. So I was chatting to one of my mentors yesterday for 47 minutes. Two of my mentors, one for 47 minutes, one for 1 hour and 10 minutes. Both of them make over $200,000 a month on average minimum, 3 million rand. Sorry, three mentors. One is worth $1.5 billion. One makes $200,000 a month, and the other one makes $200,000 a month. And I said, one of the questions I asked them was, how many friends do you have? They said about 2. I said, great, I have 4. They said, you're learning very fast. What you learned at 25 years old, I only learned at like 50 something. It's so sad. But if you have the right intentions, you will attract the right people into your life.
Sash, that's a incredible insight into keeping your circle tight. We just got 2 quick questions to close off on, Sash. I want to talk about goals quickly. Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? And what audacious goals have you set for yourself?
To be honest with you, I know where I'm going to go, but it's not about that. It's about where do I see the country? Where do I see the economy? Because I'm going to play a huge role in it. I don't want to be the president, but I'm going to have more power than the president because of what we're going to create and develop. I know what's going to happen. We'll change the economy in multiple different ways with the type of, I'm sitting in Philippines right now, and 40 families own the entire country. Not the president, 40 people own the entire economy in Philippines. It's so crazy. So I know what we're going to do with that. And it's just so visible. It's not where Sashin Govender is going to be. It's not about Sashin Govender, or please. That's the question that I write off immediately. It's about, I'm only fulfilled, I'm only content when someone else is living my really and truly want to drive a Lamborghini, but I don't, because I want someone else to drive a Lamborghini that's close to me, where I can be like, wow, it's happening, it's visible, they've achieved something that I want to achieve. That's why I never buy another sports car. I'm over that. And same, I just want a jet. That's all I want. I want a jet. So in the next few years, things are going to be huge, man. It's going to be big. Companies, 100, 200, 300, 400 companies. That's going to increase employment and increase the economy and bring in multiple different first world people into Africa. And my vision is Africa. That's it. I'm focused on Africa, but I'm creating the bridge between first and third world. That's one of the problems I'm solving here. I'm creating the bridge between first world countries and third world countries. And how's it going to impact people? It's going to impact people in a very big way. It's going to impact people, not just financially. It'll be a safer place. People will be more content. People will never have to watch their back. Everyone's going to be personally developed. We'll educate people more than they learned in 13 years of school, grade 0 to grade 12. We'll have the best salesmen in Africa. We will have the best mindsets. I'm not talking about A grades. I'm talking about innovators and disruptors and change makers. It's just going to change the world, man. It's going to change in a very big way. It gives me goosebumps to know that we're not far away. You might think we are. People listening on this call, we're not far away. We really are not far away. I slept at 6 a.m. this morning. The night before, I slept at 5 a.m. It's like I'm super productive when the world's sleeping because I get into the zone and I do what I need to do. It's like I gotta, you know, work on my mind before I work on a new company or problem that I need to solve. But I'm excited, and the winning edge is it's the evolution of you. It's gonna create an evolution where it's gonna change the world.
Sash, I'm going to be honest with you. You're wise beyond your years. And I've seen the picture circulating that you posted on the TMS jet. And I know for a fact that it's going to be a reality and you're going to manifest it the way that you've manifested all those goals that you've achieved. You said to me earlier, ask whatever questions I wanted on this call. So I know for a fact that your answers have added incredible value to all 300 people on this call right now. I'm going to close off with one last question, Sash. And I'm going to say to you, if you had to go back to the younger Sashin Govender starting out in business today, what advice would you give him knowing what you know now?
Be prepared for people to let you down. Be prepared for people to not celebrate you. Be prepared for people to try to screw you over. Be prepared for people to not have the right type of intentions. Just be prepared for it. As much as I was I would have, a few years ago, I would have said, hey, be prepared for people's opinions and be prepared for, people's words and what they say and they hate. No, it's not about that. It's a bit more deeper. Be prepared for the people who used to have your back turn against you because it's all about them. All about them. I've never named, I don't want to name. I'm not sitting here to name because, people will either expose themselves or they will promote themselves. Very, 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 very important two words: promote or expose. God bless the people who expose themselves. God bless the people who expose themselves because I want them to win. My intentions are very pure. But those who promote themselves, I'm celebrating from a distance. I brag about almost any and everyone that I've managed to sit in front and witness them win. I brag about them like I'm so content and fulfilled that they are living my dream life. You just got to understand. And you brought a powerful point up about the jet. I'll be honest with you, I can't afford the jet. The jet's $55 million for a G6. 55 million. I don't have that money right now. But it's a very different conversation next year this time. Very different conversation. Absolutely different. Because it's a prototype and a paradigm, which is a multitude of habits. I'm going to talk about that for the first 40 minutes on my topic. I'm going to reprogram your entire mind to be prepared for not when you starting off, but when you've arrived. Because when it's time to change the world, because you start off in survival mode and you start to escalate from survival to status, from status to freedom, from freedom to purpose. I'm on the purpose phase right now. Purpose phase meaning like I used to be able to walk into Gucci and Louis Vuitton and throw $5,000, $70,000 on clothes. Now I take $5,000 and start 5 new businesses. It's a very different game plan now. The clothes I wear right now is TMS, the Millionaire Student. Under 200 Rand for a cap, under 200 Rand for a t-shirt. That's what I wear right now, unless it's a suit. But you got to understand, the game changes. You couldn't teach me back then. Even if you wanted to, I needed to go in there, spend $5,000 in Gucci and Louis Vuitton, waste my own money, and learn from my own mistakes. You couldn't teach me. People have told me, save. No, I needed to go through what I need to go through. You need to go through what you need to go through. You need to be the person that's tossed, turned, thrown over, etc. Come back. And it's a game changer. I believe you are your biggest asset. You are also your biggest liability. You choose what you want to be.
Awesome. Sashin Govender, we've made a mental note. We've written down this date. 1 year from now, we're going to get you back on for another interview. I don't know if we're going to have a platform big enough to host the amount of people which will jump on that call in 1 year, but
we might create the platform.
There you go. It's done. Under $1,000. So, and we'll call it, I know you're going to come up with some amazing.
That's a business idea right there for someone who's listening.
Gone, done. So Sashin, I want to thank you, not just on behalf of the people which are on this call, but on behalf of the world, because, I've said it before, you were nobody from a small city in South Africa 8 years ago, and now you've become the person that everyone wants to know, what are you doing and how are you doing it? So We want to wish you, God bless you, and thank you for absolutely everything we know you're going to be bringing to the world in the next 10, 15, 20 years. We'll see you at the Winning Edge, Johannesburg, 24th of August.
Before we wrap it up, bring everyone you know. If they can breathe, if they can walk, if they can talk, if they can jump on a plane, bring them. I want to know. I want you to bring every businessman. I don't care how much they worth. I really don't care if they worth 10 million, 100 million, 1 billion. I don't care. Bring everyone you know, everyone that's in Africa, every single person. If you have someone that's like big enough, that they, like big enough, like presidents and politicians and huge business people, connect with me on social media. I want to meet them. I want them there. Okay, I'm not even let them be my guest, but bring everyone you know. Bring every single person you know. You have kids over 13 years old. Bring them. You don't have kids. It's time you create some. You got 7 days to create a 13-year-old kid. I don't know how you're gonna do that. Do whatever you need to do. Bring every person. You got a relationship with someone. Bring them there. Let's get them personally developed. You in a relationship with someone. Bring them there. Let's get them personally developed. You have business partners that don't want to come. Bring them there. Let's get them personally developed. You got teachers that, can impact other students out there. Bring them. Anyone and everyone, bring them. I promise you, the minute they fix themselves, we fix our country, you get fixed automatically. If you're not promoting this within the next 6 days, I guarantee you something. Biggest mistake you'll ever make. We got 7,200 seats. I promise you we'll sell this thing out. I'll see you there.
Absolutely brilliant, Sash. Can't wait to see you on stage. Thank you, my brother.